Hi everyone. So for this session, what I am going to focus on is going to be your 1123 O level English language paper. And for this session, I am going to focus on the techniques as well as the style that you can use in order for you to answer questions that you will find for your paper 2, section 2, right? Which is your reading for meaning section. So basically, when you look into meaning for reading for meaning, what you will be coming across would be on the reading of a passage, as well as you will be required to understand the text given, highlight or analyze the text, as well as refer to the questions so that you will be able to answer the questions correctly. So when you read the insert, do make sure you underline the keywords or the key points or maybe the content of each paragraph, so that when it comes to answering the questions, right, when you look into the question, you will come across questions stated like based on paragraph 1 or based on paragraph 4, and also using your own words. So you should be able to have a good understanding of words, as well as you must also have varieties of language to be used. For example, you need to know the synonym or the antonym of the words, or you must also be able to explain the words or the phrases given in the text using your own words, right? So now, without wasting much time, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to explain on what reading for meaning is all about, followed by a sample question paper or past year paper taken from May June 2019 paper, right? So we will look into the insert as well as the question, and I will try to highlight on the keywords or the key ideas that you need to know and understand before you start answering the questions. Yeah. Now, section 2 is basically on reading for meaning. So you're required to read the passage thoroughly before answering the question. So it's like you read, you analyze the text, as well as you understand the content of the text before you refer to the questions. Candidates should read all the questions wording thoroughly. Merely glancing at it sometimes results in a crucial instruction being missed. So read the questions, and you may also underline or highlight the questions, because what you are required to do is that you need to have good understanding of the question, as so that you'll be able to look for the answers from the insert, right? So to deal with a passage written as a first-person narrative, candidates should practice answering questions in the third person. Right. If the question mentions about I or the first person, what you may change it is like the author or the writer or the person's name used in the text or in the insert. Try to use that rather than you using or writing your answers in a first person's view, right? So when you answer the questions, make sure that you answer them precisely, considering what is demanded by the question or by the examiner, right? So answers outside the parameters or on any other page can result in parts of a response not being seen by the examiner. So try to use your own words as much as possible, but do not explain something generally, because it may contain misleading information, or it may be something which is not relevant to the question given, right? Avoid annotating scripts with unnecessary confusing errors, ticks, or crosses. Some candidates included the insert with their question paper booklet. This is also a practice which should be discontinued. So you will be given 2 papers for your paper 2. So what you're supposed to do is that keep the insert aside as well as the question paper aside. Do not include or do not put the insert into the question paper, because when you look into your examination procedure, insert will be collected separately from your question paper. So you have to practice this and make sure you follow or abide by the rules, right? So when it comes to explicit meaning questions, okay, you have to make sure that you have distill their answers from the text and avoid the use of direct speech. Okay, extract information from the text as much as you can without changing the actual meaning of the text, and also make sure that your when the rubric specifies one word answer, you should always follow this. If the question asks you to state a word that carries the same meaning of the word stated in the question, only choose one word rather than writing a phrase or a sentence. Okay, so you have to follow the question as it is. And when it comes to vocabulary, right? So when it comes to vocabulary, you are required to provide contextual meaning of words, the dictionary meaning of the words. It is advisable in all questions, including the vocabulary question, to avoid offer in a number of alternative responses, as only the first response will be marked. Okay, so this means here, do not provide more than two, or do not provide more than one synonym or answer, because only the first answer will be chosen and the rest of the answers would not be looked at or into, right? So when we look into implicit meaning, inferential part here, it shows that you are drawing the inferences from a sensible context linked to the text. So when you're using your own words, do make sure you identify the keywords in such questions and substitute these keywords with your own. Avoid couching the synonyms or keywords in word form, as in shift, which means move, never breathe again, or which means death. So try to use proper words or proper selection of vocabulary rather than using something which is not relatable or unnecessary or irrelevant. So the following part of your paper 2 section 2 question would basically focus on writer's craft, but this part would be explained in detail after when it comes to the following session. So now what I am going to do is that I am going to share the insert as well as the question paper that has been what we call this, that has been prepared for all of you. Yeah, so for this part here, let's look at this insert. All right, this is taken from May June 2019 paper, right? So when you look at the insert here, your passage 1 will be focused on the summary question, which is your section 1, and passage 2 is always referring to section 2, which is reading for meaning. So you will read this text and you will understand the content of the text. You are always allowed to highlight or underline or make some keynotes when it comes to the passage. Okay, now looking at the second part here, this is the question paper, section 2, reading for meaning. You are look at the instructions carefully. Yeah, so read the passage and in the insert, and also answer all the questions below, right? Do not skip any of the questions, because this might result in you losing marks. So every time you come across a question, it will be stated which paragraph is it focusing. So when you look at the question from paragraph 1, you only look at paragraph 1 and you search or you look for the answers from paragraph 1 alone. So every time or every now and then you will come across this type of question whereby you have to explain using your own words, which means you state the idea from the passage and then you explain the ideas, because 2 marks will be awarded for the question. And always be vigilant at the marks given, because these are the key ideas, or these are the key that you need to know in order to identify how much are you supposed to write or required to write based on the questions given. Okay, so when it comes to a question, your vocabulary question, you will come across 5 questions and you have to choose the best answer, or the best answer or which is related to the question. And you may also refer to the line if in case you do not know what does the word mean, or you are quietly unsure of the meaning of the words. Okay, so I think that's all for your paper 2 section 2, reading for meaning, and thank you for tuning in.